Hello, I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy and doing well and the best they can through this time. I'm very excited to talk about my assignment today. That's a little different than my paper and my team debate topic. Today I'm talking about alcohol advertising. After seeing the lecture on controversial products, I thought this was a great topic to discuss. Um, so let's get started then. So I think every American who watches cable television can say they have seen alcohol advertisements. Not even just cable advertisements, who've driven on the highway, who've been to a supermarket. Like, they're everywhere. If you've watched the Super Bowl, you've definitely seen the Bud Light Dilly Dilly campaign, or other campaigns for Coors Light, Corona, Svedka, etc. The alcohol industry is known for using different media sources to promote their product. According to opposing viewpoints, during the year spanning the third financial quarter of 2016 to the second quarter of 2017, the alcohol industry spent over $2.2 billion on advertising in the United States, using different venues like print, radio, social media, and TV commercials. To the average adult, these commercials are harmless because they're of age. Alcohol companies want adults to buy their products. However, adults aren't the only ones watching cable television and getting exposed to alcohol advertisements through other outlets. Underage people, especially teenagers who cannot legally drink, are exposed to and affected by these advertisements. Another group to think about are people facing or who have faced issues with alcoholism. Although these advertisements seem harmless and it just looks like adults having fun together, the interpretation of the ads can vary among different ages, lifestyles, issues, etc. On the other hand, there are other influences out there that affect underage drinking, binge drinking, and relapse, such as emotional factors and social factors, which is especially common among teenagers with peer pressure. Additionally, the FTC has enforced restrictions on advertising that require all claims to be truthful and evidence-based and forbid marketing practices deemed deceptive or unfair to consumers, and has encouraged the alcohol industry to adopt and comply with self-regulatory standards to reduce the extent to which alcohol advertising targets teens and other people, whether by placement or by content. So the question is advertising dangerous and unethical? So on the con side, alcohol is not healthy for our bodies. It can lead to negative health outcomes in a physical sense, a mental sense, and an emotional sense if abused. According to a study conducted by the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism in 2018, 14.4 million adults ages 18 and older had an alcohol use disorder. This includes 9.2 million men and 5.3 million women. Additionally, an estimated 401,000 adolescents ages 12 to 17 had alcohol use disorder. This number includes 173,000 males and 227,000 females. An estimated 88,000 people die from alcohol-related causes annually, making alcohol the third leading preventable cause of death in the United States. This is clearly a serious public health issue that alcohol advertising is not helping. Although alcohol advertising portrays innocent adult fun with alcohol, some ads associate a brand with cool, sexy people and a fun activity, promoting a harmful perception of alcohol among the youth. Adults are not the only ones being exposed to alcohol advertisements, as I said before. Even if a brand doesn't intend on targeting underage people, they can and do. The study continues to find that 29.8% of 15-year-olds report that they have had at least one drink in their lives. About 7.1 million people between the ages of 12 and 20 reported drinking alcohol in the past month that this study was conducted. Approximately 4.3 million reported binge drinking in the past month, and approximately 861,000 people ages 12 to 20 reported heavy alcohol use in the past month that this study was taken. Research indicates that alcohol use during the teenage years could interfere with normal adolescent brain development and increase risk in developing an alcohol use disorder, as I mentioned previously. In addition, underage drinking contributes to a range of acute consequences, including injuries, sexual assaults, and even deaths, including those from car crashes. This is why alcohol advertisements can be so dangerous to the undeveloped mind of a minor. Additionally, scholars and activists have identified patterns in alcohol advertising that perpetuate racial stereotypes, objectify women, and glamorize addiction and target specific demographics. For example, a Heineken advertisement in 2018 promoting its light beer was criticized for racism. In the ad, a bartender slides a beer across the bar, passing several black people before arriving at another black customer with notably lighter skin, followed by the tagline, "Sometimes lighter is better." Among the commercial's critics, the hip-hop artist Chance the Rapper identified the ad as racist and suggested that companies like Heineken may put out such potentially controversial advertisements in hope of gaining publicity from social media outrage. According to opposing viewpoints, many alcohol ads, in hopes of attracting as many customers as possible, have frequently launched campaigns to specifically target marginalized demographics, such as ethnic and racial minorities, as I mentioned before, and the LGBTQ community. Targeted campaigns may involve using packaging with cultural symbols or messaging, sponsoring social events, such as hiring hip-hop artists to attract African American customers. For these reasons of, targeting certain people with harmful stereotypes and the actual dangers of alcohol among the youth and people susceptible to alcohol use disorders, one can conclude that alcohol advertising is dangerous and therefore unethical. On the pro side, one's choice to consume alcohol comes from a variety of factors. Advertising may be one of those factors, but so is social peer pressure, which is common among those who are underage, along with family values and emotional factors. A study by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services reviewed the evidence on the effects of alcohol advertising on alcohol consumption, alcohol-related problems, and drinking-related beliefs and attitudes, and the overall conclusion consistently indicated small and inconclusive connections between the exposure to and the awareness of alcohol advertising and drinking beliefs and attitudes. And behaviors, There are countless other studies that have concluded similar conclusions. According to an article by the Advertising Association, advertising has a statistically insignificant effect on consumption. There is little or no overall impact on the total category consumption as a result of brand advertising. This would reinforce the argument put forward by the advertising industry that in a mature market such as alcoholic drinks, advertising is targeted to reinforce brand identity, offset brand switching, and maintain market share rather than encourage greater levels of overall consumption across the category. Additionally, as mentioned previously, the FTC is responsible for enforcing efforts to stop unfair or deceptive acts of practice and recently was asked to review industry efforts to avoid promoting alcohol to underage consumers. According to an article by the International Center of Alcohol Policies, the FTC conducted a report regarding alcohol advertising that looked at issues such as advertising placement, advertising content, product placement, online advertising, and college marketing, and how these were implemented and what best practices emerged. The FTC report concluded that for the most part, members of the industry comply with the current standards set by voluntary advertising codes, which prohibit blatant appeals to young audiences and advertising in venues where most of the audience is under the legal drinking age. The report also noted that individual companies had their own internal standards that exceed code requirements. These reasons lead to the conclusion that alcohol advertising is not dangerous and therefore not unethical. There are a lot of differing points of view when it comes to the ethics and danger of alcohol advertisements. However, based on the evidence mentioned above and my perspective in being an underage college student, I believe that there's not much correlation between alcohol advertisements and alcohol abuse, especially among underage people. I feel that it is the social pressure that comes from other people, movies, and television programs that compel people to consume alcohol. However, I do believe that alcohol brands should take it upon themselves to address the high numbers of alcohol abuse and alcohol-related injuries and deaths among underage people and other people facing issues with alcoholism in this country through their advertisements. Practicing this kind of social responsibility will put a better label on alcohol brands and their advertising, as well as make a meaningful difference in our society.